Greetings and welcome to Our Schools Monthly, a video magazine sponsored by the Port Huron Area School District designed to give you an inside look at what's happening in today's schools. Today's program is a little different because it's a special update focusing entirely on technology. So don't go away. We'll have two special guests who will be here to tell us all about technology in the Port Huron Area School District. Have you ever noticed a young person working on a computer? They seem to have no fear, a keen interest, and great ability moving in and out of programs and doing all kinds of things that you and I might find daunting. Well, joining me in the studio today are two people from the Port Huron Area School District who know a lot about the computer and technology programs that we offer. And they are Dawn Light, who is an elementary computer teacher at Keewatin and Lakeport Elementary Schools, and Mark Law, who is the Director of Technology for the entire district. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to have you here today, and thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to tell us all a little bit more about computers and technology in the Port Huron Area School District. Dawn, I'm going to start with you and ask you to tell our audience a little bit more about yourself. How long have you been working in the district, and how did you get into the computer teaching program?
I started in 1974 teaching first grade, kindergarten, young fives mainly. I was convinced to take the job by a colleague.
Oh.
And she said, you know more than any, which if I realized how much I didn't know, I may not have done it, but because of the tech trainers that we have that help us, I feel very comfortable in the job, and it was a very good move for me.
Okay. And Mark, you're a Director of Technology, but you have a history, and you and I have some shared history from Port Huron High School. What's your background in the district?
Well, I started in 1976 as a teacher at Port Huron High School, coaching football and wrestling, teaching biology and physical education. In the biology part, I started to get interested in the use of computers at that point in the classrooms. From there, I was the curriculum director for the district, K-12 science director, and then moved into an assistant principal at Port Huron High School, where I was at until last year, about this time last year, I became the director of instructional technology.
So you must have been pretty much on the cutting edge of technology, because back in the 70s that would just be being introduced. Computers would certainly not today look anything like they did back then.
The old Commodore 64s, you know.
the old monsters and floppy disks, the genuine floppy disks. Yeah. And then you've been in the job now, you said this job, for about a year.
Yes.
Is it getting any easier?
It's challenging every day. It's really a lot of fun. Not what I quite expected, but I enjoy it because the potential impact it's going to have on the students as we develop and grow in the technology area.
Well, I'm sure you're learning all the time, as I am in my job. There's something new every day that we encounter, and it just opens our own eyes and expands our own horizons with what we're able to do and bring to our students. But tell me a little bit about technology in the school district now. How expansive is our technology, and what's available to our students, and how do you think it's changed maybe in the last 5 years?
In the last 5 years, we have made great strides as a district. It's kind of always been proud to say, and we're looking at other districts and so on, we have been a leader in the state as far as the use of our technology and the implementation of it. Currently, all the buildings are networked. The buildings are networked amongst each other via fiber. And so the communications is to the different levels and so on is something that's at our disposal. We have a district email for the staff that's given to them at no charge, and which also helps in the communication then with our own district. All of the rooms, every single classroom within the district has at least one computer in that every single school has at least one computer lab for the students' use. Some of the schools, others may have 2, even 3 labs for the students' uses in that.
Depending on the size of the school?
Yes.
And I know that all of our teachers have to have some computer literacy because their record keeping and attendance and those things now are kept on computer as well.
Yes, a couple years ago we implemented an electronic attendance and grade books that every day, every hour, the teachers do log on, and they're feeling very comfortable. A couple years ago it was
It was a whole different story.
Still had the staff, you know, the older staff that didn't grow up with the technology were a little reluctant, but we're beyond that stage, and we're finding that some of those old-timers that were very reluctant are really starting to get into the use of the computers, not just on a personal basis, you know, with emailing and so on and taking attendance, but also exploring the use of it in the classroom to enhance their subject material.
Okay, and when you mention networking, that basically identifies that all the schools are connected through the same system. They can communicate back and forth through the email system. We can send from central office email out to everybody everywhere in the district, and a lot of shared programs as well. Like in our building, in the administration building, we can share programs back and forth. If I create something, I can send it to someone else and they can utilize it at their own station.
Yeah.
So it's really a benefit to the district tying us all together.
Oh, most definitely. One of the big projects we're looking at now is, you know, talking about as far as the staff, the communication with the staff and so on via the district email. We're looking at the growth of the distance learning programs. Right now we currently have a distance learning program at both of the high schools in Port Huron South, where the students in Port Huron High School are actually at this point taking a class from a teacher at Port Huron Northern via the distance learning. With the project that we're working on right now in conjunction with the ISD, we'll have the potential of actually utilizing our network with the growth of technology and how it's changed, literally in any classroom via a portable distance learning cart, so that it would allow students to or classes to either receive or send a lesson plan or a subject or a presentation to any other classroom within the district or within the county, as a matter of fact.
Which would be really beneficial if you have a small enrollment and another school has a large enrollment in a particular subject matter and you're not able to offer it because you only have 4 kids, but the 4 kids could do a distance learning experience.
You know, and we have quite a few staff that have taken advantage of your virtual field trips. You know, some of them in the geared more to the high school, where they actually go in and will do some operations where if we have students that maybe in biology, anatomy, physiology, they've been able to do a virtual field trip right into the actual surgery as it's going on live with those things. So that opportunity for the experience for our students will be expanded tremendously.
That's excellent. A couple of years ago, we looked at the fact that we had technology, computer technology courses at the middle school and high school, but we were lacking at the elementary level, and that's where Dawn comes into play, because we opened up 9 positions for elementary computer specialists, and you're one of those who applied for and got one of the positions and transferred in. And you mentioned that originally you might have been a little concerned, but you're glad you did it now, and
very glad.
And you see how it's working. So what is it that you actually do with the elementary students in the computer lab?
Well, I work with kindergarten through 5th grade, 45 minutes a week, and we do a variety of things. In kindergarten, you're doing very basic, trying to get them to use a mouse and figure out what I'm doing and how to do it on theirs. We've been doing, we purchased a program for the elementary buildings that not only teaches them how to use the computer, but also drills them on sounds and letters at the same time. So we've spent a lot of time in my buildings on that program. And every time they touch a key, it says the sound that letter makes in their ears if they have headphones. So it's been really neat to see kindergartners typing out sentences because they can hear those sounds, and it gives them lots of clues if they make a mistake. 1st grade, we move on a little and do some word processing and a lot of internet searches and getting them used to how the internet works. And 1st grade, I spend a lot of time typing spelling words on the computer. I don't teach the keyboard per se, but by the time we've ended the year and typed our spelling words every week, they know where the keys are. So when they get into more formal typing, keyboarding skills, it's not a problem. They already know where it is. Second and third, I spend a lot of time on the internet again, and a lot of time with word processing. And third, fourth, and fifth, I spend a lot of time with the kids with the keyboarding. That's where we start that. And the kids seem to want to learn. I really focus on how important it is to learn the right way, because if you learn the wrong way, it's much harder to change down the road.
To unlearn first.
Yes, and I type very quickly, so they're motivated to try and type as fast as I do, and some of them aren't far behind, but it's a very exciting program. The children are usually on their best behavior, and especially if they do not have a computer at home, it's a way for they realize it's a way for them to keep up with the others. So hopefully by the time they get to middle school, you can't tell who does and who does not.
Well, I know I have 3 children, and my youngest child is definitely the computer whiz in the family. And he's now a sophomore in high school, but when we began with computers, probably 6 or 7 years ago in our home, he was the one who was totally unafraid to go in and try, experiment, and get out if they have to. So you probably find that at the elementary level. They're not fearful of it at all. And it's
and if you can direct that lack of fear, to teach them how to do things, and because of the tech trainers and the classes that I've taken, they used to get real excited last year, because I don't go as much because I know some of the things they're teaching. But didn't you go to class last night? What did you learn? Show us a new trick. And I always had to them it's like magic, and hopefully, because I have almost 800 students, they're going home and showing parents, and they're showing colleagues, and it's a very potential to be a very far-reaching program. I think that's why I enjoy it so much.
When you do word processing, they also know how to boldface and italicize and find texts and move text and delete and all that. So it's not just a matter of punching letters. They do a complete application of what's available through the computer screen into modifying the text, etc.
Adding the graphics, the borders, the
headers and footers.
Well, we haven't gotten to that yet.
That's the one thing that eluded me for a long time.
And to edit, like I tell them, you have to put on a word processing document, if you type a poem, at least 2 pictures, but if you can get to 6, then I know you really know how to edit that picture. So a lot of them are motivated because they won't fit if you don't do some editing. I said the editing is the most important part. If you can edit one thing, you can edit 1,000. So it's neat to watch them grow, and I learn from them, and they, learn from me, and I think it's definitely going to put these children ahead.
Which brings us to the next question, and the next question is, at the middle school and high school, we've always had computer programs. I bet this is going to change the focus a little bit, because those were the kids who began with computers, and now they're beginning in kindergarten. So we're going to find, I'm sure, that as these students go through middle school and high school, the computer classes are going to become even more instructional and expose them to even more opportunities with technology.
Well, there's the teaching of technology, which is a factor. We have our benchmarks established by the state that we accomplish for the use of the technology. But we're trying to do it, and the focus that we've always had, and we're really to the point now since the implementation of the elementary program, and if you look at the growth of the students K through 12, by the time they get to the middle school and the high school, the things that we have been currently teaching them in the past years, they will have pretty much mastered at that level. They're not going to. We're not going to have the need for a computer application course to teach them how to use a word processor or how to get on the internet or how to use PowerPoint.
How to turn it on.
I mean, the first year I was amazed last year with this program, the presentations that the students were developing for the first time using some of the higher applications like PowerPoint and so on, where they had the motions and they had to make decisions on how they wanted to display what they were trying to do and deliver that. So there's no doubt about it. It's going to change a lot, and it really, the focus is going to be using technology across the curriculum, not teaching technology for technology's sake, but it's what we're trying to do at the elementary, and I think they're doing a fantastic job at this point, is they're teaching them the skills that they need to know, you know, how to use the mouse and move around. But what they're also tied directly into are the academics. I mean, there's programs there where they reinforce their math skills, the concept of adding, subtracting. While they're doing these things on the programs, they're learning the skills to maneuver around the computer on that, but they're also reinforcing and learning new concepts in a particular curriculum area. Right now we have a pretty broad range of applications at the elementary, from the math and the reading and the English and so on. They have these in place right now and they're using. So at the high school and the upper levels, the focus is going to be more, I think you'll see the labs being utilized less for instruction of technology and more of the use by the staff in other curriculum areas, in the math and the science and the English and so on. When you look at what technology offers our students, it's a whole window of opportunity for them to investigate, gain ideas, compare their findings, decide how they want to present those findings. It used to be, you know, you typed it on a piece of paper and handed it in, and that was your choice. Now the students, they'll have choices. Now, do I make the presentation strictly on a paper, written paper? Do I add a graphics to this document to emphasize a point? Or maybe would this, what I'm trying to get across, be better displayed using a PowerPoint presentation or a slide presentation using the applications on the computer to get the information that they're trying to get across to the person seeing this paper? What's the best way? So it's going to increase their total thought process of not just what they're doing, but getting them information, comparing information, drawing conclusions. Okay, which one do I support now? Because as we know, for every person there's another viewpoint. And so they're able to go out and search all these different viewpoints, draw conclusions, and then decide how am I best going to deliver this to the audience.
Okay. Now, Mark's mentioned a couple of times PowerPoint presentations. Do you do anything with PowerPoint at the elementary level?
3rd, 4th, and 5th does PowerPoint.
And let's tell the audience what PowerPoint is, just in a nutshell. You can make it real simple. But
well, it's a slide presentation, and the children put a picture. They can put a graphic, they can put a picture, they can put text, and they can sound effects, and they can. Last year we tied it to curriculum per grade level. In 3rd grade we did one on a planet of their choice. 4th grade, because they do Michigan history, we did a city in Michigan. In 5th grade we did a state they picked their own state in the United States, looked up the information, and then transferred the pictures from the internet, and then typed in 10. They had to have 10 facts about their state. And this year we're doing something pretty cool. In 5th grade, they've in the past have had a video made for the 5th graders as a souvenir. So I decided we're going to try and make our own.
Oh, that's great.
So the children are going to fulfill the PowerPoint part of our curriculum. They're going to make their own slide of themselves before they came to school, and then the rest of the presentation will be slides or pictures that children have, either that I've taken of assemblies and things going on in the building, or that parents have sent in, field trips and that kind of thing, and then they're going to pick out the music and they're going to do the video themselves. So I think it's going to be, instead of sitting in the drawer like my children's have since 5th grade, we've never watched them. I think it will be something that, and we're hoping to even get them on a compact disc. Depends how much help I can get.
I saw a little glance there over Mark. One other thing that I wanted to ask you in particular is, you're talking about the application in other areas. How about the MEP test? How does this help with the MEP, or does it have an application to MEP testing?
Well, what I've done with the MEP, which I've been real happy with, and it seems the kids have enjoyed it a lot. And it, again, like he said, not just teaching them something, you teach them how to use the computer at the same time. So we have done a lot of MEP practice tests. There's a lot of, some that are specifically MEP geared, some are just standardized tests alone. We do a lot of, there's a game format that I used for 2 or 3 weeks with very difficult story problems that they worked in pairs, and it was in a game format. If you get the question right, you get 10 points. If you did get it wrong, you get 5. And then the third try, they give you the answer. But if you go back, reread it, and change it, you get your 5 points back.
Oh.
So the children were motivated. If you made a mistake, I don't care. Go back and learn from that mistake. And don't just go on and go through it. And I've gotten a lot of mileage. A lot of these sites are written by book companies that go along with their books, but because our books are so similar, we've done a lot of that just to try and ease some of the comfort for children taking the MEP and the math seems to be the area the teachers always say stress the math more than the reading. They need more work there. So we spend the whole 6 weeks from Christmas vacation ending to now. We just quit last
it's
week.
coming up, I know.
Yeah, well, we're done now, but I mean, it was. For 6 weeks, that's what we do, and we did it last year too. And the kids seem to really enjoy it. I don't know if it carries. Hopefully, it carries over at least some. It can't hurt, but I also teach the internet. Really stress how the internet works at the same time, and it's amazing how this year that went so much smoother than last year because I didn't have to teach the internet. They basically know how it works, and. It was much better this year, and the same type of sites and some new ones that I found in the meantime.
So a real psychological advantage too if they relate the MEP test to the MEP
Right.
practice tests, which were fun and just
Right.
basically a competition, take some of that fear away of, oh, this big test, and now they can approach it just as though
Hopefully.
it's the kind of thing that they did on the computer, only now
Yes.
they don't get to use the computer
Right.
necessarily.
But they'll do almost anything on the computer because, and it can be the same thing they're doing in the classroom. It can be a sheet of addition facts just on the computer. It's more fun.
So as we recap then, basically we have computers in every classroom, we have computer labs in every school, we have every kid on a computer for 45 minutes a week at the elementary level, and they're doing all kinds of programs on the computer. They're doing internet searches, they're doing word processing, they're doing PowerPoint presentations, they're manipulating texts and graphics and images and changing the fonts and the types, etc. So they're really becoming computer savvy, and they're looking forward to expanding their opportunities at middle school and high school as we change the curriculum there to accommodate students who already know something about computers, whereas in the past that was their first exposure. We get that in a nutshell? Does that pretty much wrap it up? Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I didn't ask a question about either what you do in the classroom or your job as overseeing the technology?
It goes along with the question as far as what's going to happen at the middle school and high schools. This last year, we implemented a pilot class called Web Publishing. At Port High School. Since then, it's now a approved curriculum in the district at both high schools, where now the students that have the computer skills and so on, now what they have an opportunity to do is become specialized in an area that there are many occupations right out of high school. This is one reason we want to look at it. As I was reading an article, there was literally hundreds of job opportunities for webmasters, for people to go out into business and create and develop web pages. So we started this program, and this year we decided to kind of take a chance. We being basically me, I'll take the responsibility for it. And that was to go over to Port High School, who's offering an advanced web publishing class, and have the students themselves actually create Port Huron Area School District's web page from scratch. Right now, the web page is up and running. What you see is entirely created, the thought process of how it's developed and so on, and the different things that they use to that web page has really been the students' creation. Now, what we're in the phase right now is okay, let's come back and see where the mistakes are, because right now we have mistakes on the pages where accessibility, some people are having problems getting into it because of the web browser that they're using. This is mainly due because of the scripting. The student that's really doing this is really into to programming and stuff, and they're using a JavaScript, which requires a high browser. So we're in the process now of, okay, where we're at, let's stop, and let's now implement and learn from that what a business, for example, would want in a web page. You know, they want accessibility. They want the web page to come up quickly. The bells and whistles are all fine and dandy, but the importance of the web pages, now they're kind of stepping back. Okay, yeah, I tried to make a real spectacular web page, and I think he did a nice job, but yet, keep it professional. But now let's back off, and we're trying to, on our web pages, to give information. It's got to be data driven. We want people to be able to log on and get the information and move through it easily, and not have to wait for something to load in or not be able to open up because of a particular browser. So it was kind of a chance to do this, because we knew this would probably happen. But I think the ultimate rewards is going to be great, not only for that student but for the program, because I can see this as something that could continue over the years and maybe even develop at the other schools, the elementary schools and so on. As these kids go on and get advanced, they may even move down for an hour or two and help out in elementary school, maybe develop their own web page there and maintain that. So it's kind of an opportunity for the students to learn and develop their skills and implement those skills out into the real public, for a purpose.
Now, do we have a website address for the Port Union Area School District at this time, or is it still in developmental stages?
No, the website, www.port-huron.k12.mi.us.
All in lowercase?
All in lowercase.
Okay. That address again, www.port-huron.k12.mi.us.
Yes.
And maybe we'll try to get that on the screen as we're talking about it. And that will take people to the website for the Port Union Area School District. And then they can click on other things and see what...
Yeah, they developed some links as far as job opportunities, and they've developed a link where they post any job that comes up is posted in the web page so that people can see that. They have links to the board members. They have a link to the district email for staff that if they're home and they want to access their email, they can do that.
I did that during my surgery, and it really comes in handy.
Community education has quite a large
One step ahead of me on that one.
that we're linked to. And some of the things on the community webpage we're experiencing are the same things we're experiencing at the Port Union. It takes a little while to load up some of that information. So if the public can bear with the learning process, I think once we're there, it's going to be really a neat operation for our students to kind of hold a lot of pride that they'll be able to, hey, I did that, and it's worldwide. It's something that's actually useful and not just a project that gets thrown away or put on a shelf. It's actually a functional project.
So I think that pretty much covers it. We've got from kindergarten all the way through high school and community education as well. And I want to thank you very much for taking the time to be with us and sharing your background and expertise in the technology program and the curriculum of teaching computers to our elementary students. And best of luck to you. Best wishes for your program, and get those kids ready for the MEEP, and off we go. Mark, best wishes for the future and all the changes that continually come through the upgrading of computers and trying to keep up with technology as it makes its ever forward advance. And we appreciate where we were, where we are, and who knows where we're going to go with all these wonderful things. So that's our segment on computers and technology. If you'd like more information or have a specific question, you can contact Mark Law at the Administration Building, 984-3101, extension 294, or you can also contact me, Ken Kraft, at extension 281. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in just a few minutes in another episode of Our Schools Monthly.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the 225-year history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Well, that's our program for today. I hope you learned a little bit more about the technology and the curriculum of computers in the Port Union Area School District. It's amazing we had so much to talk about that we were able to fill an entire half-hour segment. If you have any questions, be sure to call those numbers that I gave you in the program. And thanks for tuning in. If you're interested in learning more about computers, you can also call Community Education and sign up for a class for yourself. That's it for today. Tune in next time at other programs on CPHS 6 to learn more about what's happening in our schools in the Port Union Area School District.